How NASA wasted $200 million for developing its spacesuit? NASA has worked on 3 spacesuit development programs in the last 8 years: the Constellation Space Suit System, CSSS, the Advanced Spacesuit Project, and the Orion Crew Survival System, OCSS. However, none of them has produced a flight-ready spacesuit. According to the audit, the absence of a clear strategy for future missions, as well as specified destinations, has hampered spacesuit development since various missions need different designs. Previously, NASA connected spacesuit development to specific programs, but more recently, spacesuits have been designed independently without regard to a specific mission. The audit also questioned NASA's choice to keep funding the CSSS despite the termination of the mission for which it was created and a recommendation that the contract be terminated. It claimed astronauts had done 204 spacewalks while wearing the EMUs and had suffered 27 significant incidents, including glove breakage, hot body temperatures, and water incursions into the helmet. While none resulted in severe damage or death to an astronaut, a European Space Agency astronaut noticed a developing blob of water in his helmet in July 2013, prompting him to return to the space station quickly. The crew discovered between 1 and 1.5 liters of water in the helmet when the spacesuit was removed, which might have proved deadly if it had blocked his breathing. According to the audit, EMU maintenance is considerably more difficult to complete on time today than it was when NASA used the Space Shuttle to transfer people to and from the ISS. During the Space Shuttle era, the suits were returned to Earth for repair after each flight. That doesn't mean NASA will instantly outsource its spacesuit design and manufacturing. During the initial ARTEMIS missions, including ARTEMIS 3, which will see the next American man and woman go to the lunar surface, NASA will construct and certify its own spacesuits. However, after that, there are 5 additional ARTEMIS missions planned, 4 of which will have crew on board. On top of that, NASA has an issue with spacesuits. Although a NASA study to see whether it can add a crew to its new Orion deep space capsule sooner than anticipated, which would be deflected during the Heavy Lift Space Launch System rocket's first mission, is still in the works, the astronauts' clothing may wind up being a showstopper. According to a government audit published on Wednesday, the Orion Crew Survival System, or OCSS, a next-generation flight suit, will not be delivered until March 2021, only 5 months before NASA's internal planned launch date for the first crewed test flight of SLS and Orion. The OCSS is one of 3 spacesuits developed by NASA to replace shuttle-era equipment on the International Space Station. Despite investing almost $200 million over the last 10 years, NASA is on the verge of running out of time to test any of the new spacesuits on the station before its scheduled departure in 2024, according to the Inspector General's report. In February, at the request of the White House, NASA conducted a study to see whether a crew might be added to an earlier trip known as Exploration Mission 1 or EM1, which is currently an unmanned mission around the moon set to launch at the end of 2018. Although NASA has not said if additional personnel for the expedition is possible, all astronauts traveling aboard Orion will have to wear an OCSS. The spacesuit is intended to keep astronauts safe from fire, smoke, and hazardous chemicals during launch and landing. It would also offer a backup pressurized environment in the event of a capsule malfunction. The Orion spacesuit, which is being built in-house by NASA engineers, will undergo a preliminary design assessment in June, with a final review scheduled for next summer. NASA spent $12 million on the project between 2010 and 2016, according to NASA Inspector General Paul Martin's report published on Wednesday. In addition to OCSS, NASA is developing 2 pressurized spacesuits for astronauts to wear during spacewalks, also known as extravehicular activity, EVA, in NASA speak. The first is the Constellation Space Suit System, which was created as part of the Bush-era Constellation Moonbound Exploration Program, which was terminated in 2010. According to the watchdog body, NASA continued to pay Constellation suit contractor Oceaneering International to research certain technologies for another 5 years. Rather than terminate the contract, NASA paid the contractor $80.8 million between 2011 and 2016 for spacesuit technology development, despite parallel development activities being conducted within NASA's Advanced Exploration Systems Division. Martin wrote, according to the audit, NASA spent $135.6 million on the Constellation Space Suit and another $51.6 million on the Advanced Space Suit project, which is a follow-on effort. Despite this investment, the agency remains years away from having a flight-ready spacesuit that could replace the current equipment, the report said. The spacesuits are essentially tiny one-person spacecraft that keep astronauts alive in space's vacuum and harsh temperatures, while providing enough flexibility and durability for spacewalking crews to repair equipment, dig, and conduct other mission-critical tasks. The agency's efforts have been hindered by the fact that it does not yet have a clear strategy in place for where and when spacewalking astronauts would be required. NASA is working on the next-generation spacewalk suit in 3 phases. The first version is intended for use on the International Space Station. The second is intended for trips around the Moon, referred to as CISLUNAR missions, and the third is intended for use on Mars. NASA should create and execute a formal strategy for designing, manufacturing, and testing next-generation spacesuits, according to the Inspector General, and undertake a study to see whether maintaining the existing EVA spacesuit is less costly than creating and testing a new one. A reporter stated, without specific mission criteria, engineers must make assumptions about system requirements for future missions. She then continued, for example, spacesuit requirements vary for EVAs in cislunar space on Mars or on the Martian moon Phobos, as each destination has different temperatures, radiation levels, pressures, mobility requirements, and exposure to dust and debris. NASA termed the audit a fair assessment in a letter response to Martin, but it disputed the claim that the oceaneering contract should have been terminated. NASA's Associate Administrator, William Gerstenmayer, said he supports the auditor's recommendations. By September 30, he promised to provide a report on the agency's spacesuit developmental projects. In addition, NASA has previously collaborated on the technology that will be used in its own spacesuits with private businesses, as well as educational institutions and researchers. And the agency anticipates that any future designs will be based on the present exploration outfit. It does, however, want to hand over complete production and testing to industry partners, who will be expected to facilitate the development of the suits, as well as propose changes to the current suit design. In regards to the suits, NASA is seeking feedback on tools and support hardware that will be used with the suits during extravehicular activities, as well as ensuring that the suits are compatible with the vehicles that will transport them, as well as the Lunar Gateway, which will serve as a staging ground between Earth and the Moon's surface. Finally, NASA would want to hear from businesses on how to better commercialize spacesuits and spacewalks so that they may be sold to consumers outside of NASA. This isn't unexpected, considering NASA's recent indications that it's interested in strengthening its partnerships with businesses on ARTEMIS, the future Mars mission, and the ISS and its possible commercial replacement. What do you think caused the failure of its spacesuits? Do you think NASA just wasted $200 million for nothing? Along with that, are you enjoying watching these kinds of content? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Before leaving, don't forget to subscribe, and hit the bell button for notifications of our future content. With that being said, see you in the next one.